Well, hello, Heather. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Michael. How are you?
Well, I'm excited to be here on
Me
another
too.
one of your Insurance Unlocked fabulous podcasts.
Yay.
Yay! And we finally got it to work. Woo!
I know we had some technical difficulties, but here we are.
Here we are. I know that you've got some great information to share with us today about the importance of making sure that your home is insured to include replacement costs. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Yay.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this is all of the wildfires that are happening right now had got me thinking about how important it is to make sure your home is insured correctly on the dwelling. So when you look at an insurance policy, the first coverage listed is your dwelling coverage. So that is the amount you would get for your home in the event of a total loss or to repair or rebuild it.
Okay.
I think a lot of times people get a policy on their home and they don't think that, oh, over time, construction costs can change. It can cost more to rebuild your house. And so they don't adjust that initial amount they've insured their home for. And sometimes they can be underinsured, which can be really scary in the event of a loss. We had a total loss here with one of our clients recently due to the Forsyth fires happening locally up in Pine
Yeah.
Valley. And thank heavens her home is insured adequately. But if it wasn't, I mean, can you imagine your home burns to the ground and you don't get enough money from the insurance company to rebuild it? That can be devastating to somebody.
Yeah, completely devastating.
Emotionally, financially, it's terrible. So
I know that
it's,
happened to a lot of people in the California fires
yeah.
and also in Hawaii. They just simply didn't have a
Hmm.
replacement cost and they're out of luck. They've simply
Yeah.
lost everything and nobody's
Yep.
going to step in to help them. It's tragic.
No. And that they're either, they have to walk away from that loss or I don't know, figure out other ways to get the money to rebuild. And yeah, financially, emotionally, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of times there are not a lot of times, there are two different ways to insure a home. You have replacement costs and you have actual cash value. You want to make sure you can get replacement cost on your home. You're going to get more money for it if it is a total loss or to rebuild, where actual cash value takes into account depreciation.
Oh.
So, for our client, for instance, she had replacement costs on her home, which is fantastic. Her house burnt to the ground. She's going to get money for everything at what it would cost brand new. Where if it was insured for only actual cash value, she's going to get depreciated amounts on everything. So you're going to get less money to rebuild or repair that house.
So if the house was built in like 2020 even, the cost of building materials and everything else has gone up. She would only
Absolutely.
receive the value from 2020
Uh-huh.
prices and not
Yep. Not
2025.
current. Yeah. And when we sit down with our clients and we're either doing a review on their current policy or we're looking at somebody that's just purchased a house and we're trying to figure out replacement cost for them, we have a couple things we can do. We have a calculator we use that we put in all the attributes of the home and it tells us what it should be valued at. Another thing we do is we look at that number and we say, okay, right now on average here in southern Utah. Now, there are different parts of southern Utah where houses can cost a little more due to the location and the higher end materials they might use. But on average, we aim for $200 to $250 a square foot to
Wow.
insure your home. So I know my house, for instance, 5 years ago, we built our house. It costs a lot more now than it was 5 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago it was 170 per square foot we could get away with. Well, now
Yeah.
you're looking between 2 and 250.
So basically, without the replacement costs, you couldn't afford to live in your own home. You couldn't afford to
Yeah,
rebuild your
no.
own home as it
Mm-mm.
was.
No, not at all. Um
Wow, that's amazing. You'd have to live in a Coleman tent with the firemen
yeah.
out there in the park that are fighting the Pine
Yeah.
Valley fire.
Exactly,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh. That'd be
Another
horrible.
thing that we do want people to keep in mind as well is when we sit down with clients, they'll say, "Oh, well, my house is worth $700,000." Okay, well, we don't insure land, so you need to subtract the land out of that. Or they'll say this, I just bought my house for 700,000. It needs to be insured for that. Yeah, well, there's a lot that
Yeah.
goes into that sales price. So you want to make sure you're insuring it for what it would cost to rebuild it, not necessarily the sales price. And that can be a difference of a couple $100,000. Land is so expensive now. So you buy a house for 700,000, that includes land and the home. Well, we don't need to worry about the land. We want to insure the home, so maybe the replacement cost on the home's only 500,000.
So a
So you got to
good
keep that in
rule,
mind.
so a good rule of thumb then is the $250 per square foot. Good way to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's we rely on that a lot. We rely on our calculators we use and our we call them a 360 calculator. Like I said, it takes into account the location, square footage. I mean, we can go down to the type of carpet you have in your house.
Yeah.
So all that's taken into consideration when determining our replacement cost. And then we also, as a rule of thumb, we use that to right now the 200 to 250. Now in 3 years, we might be looking at 250 to 300 a square foot. We don't know. Just building prices change all the time.
So basically, what I should do is once a year, if not, well, once a year, once every 18 months or so, I should probably call Heather and say, Heather, but can you meet with me and we can determine if I need to up my replacement cost coverage on my home
Absolutely.
because prices may have changed over the last year or so? Is that,
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
think,
minimum once a year, you should be meeting with your insurance agent to go over your policy. I mean, there are so many different things that can change in a person's life within a year. It's
yeah.
insane. And replacement costs can be one of them. Personal property on your home, maybe you acquire more stuff than you had before. Like, there's so many different things you need to look at during that review.
I think most people, and this is me from personal experience, we don't really take into consideration the fact that, oh, I need to meet with my insurance person
Mm-mm. Yeah.
every year. It's kind of like going to the dentist. Oh man, I got to go to the
Yeah.
dentist. Oh man, I got to talk to my insurance person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we just need to realize that it is important, especially in terms of replacement costs,
Oh,
because if a
absolutely. And at the
disaster
end of the
happens, man.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it just gives you that peace of mind knowing you're fully insured. You'll be made whole again in the event of a total loss on your home or even a partial loss. You'll
Yeah.
be made whole again. And it's just, you can sleep a little bit better at night knowing that.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
Heather, any other parting words of wisdom before we head on down the insurance road?
No, just get with your agents as soon as you can. Go over your policies. I recommend going over your auto policy as well.
Okay.
Look at everything. Make sure you're insured adequately, correctly, and you walk away feeling good about those coverages.
Okay. If somebody has questions, they'd like to schedule an appointment with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can call me at our office, 435-251-9102. They can email us at udyandassociates at amfam.com. That's UDYANDASSOCIATES at amfam.com. We also are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all those social media platforms you can reach us on.
And in addition to that, you have this delightful podcast called Insurance
Yes,
Unlocked.
check
You
me out
got,
here.
yeah, check them out. They're all on YouTube. Just check out Insurance Unlocked on YouTube. Also, Heather is available on all the other major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, and so on and so forth. So if you're cruising down the road and you want to listen to a great podcast, you can tune in to listen to Heather, Insurance Unlocked on any of those. Heather,
Yes,
thanks a lot for being here today.
of course.
We'll see
It
you
was
again
wonderful.
next time.
Thanks,
Yeah, it
Michael.
was good. All right, you take care. Bye.
Bye.